This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
And good evening, I'm Mark Mullins, bringing you the news from my home as part of RTV6's social distancing effort.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. First at 11, tomorrow leaders with the City of Indianapolis, Marion County, and community leaders will announce a new testing initiative. It's aimed at reaching communities that are disproportionately impacted by the coronavirus. According to the State Health Department, African Americans make up nearly 17% of COVID-19 cases in Indiana, but just under 10% of the population. At today's daily briefing, the State Health Commissioner talked about some of the outreach efforts that are already underway.
We have been working with partners including our Indiana Minority Health Coalition, our Indiana Black Expo, Indiana Latino Expo, and the Indiana Native American Commission, along with the LGBTQ community. Our Office of Minority Health has hosted a series of webinars and focused on COVID-19 to better inform our minority communities about best practices, coping strategies, social determinants of health as they pertain to this novel coronavirus.
Tomorrow's announcement about testing is scheduled at 10 a.m. Look for details on our website, theindychannel.com, and the news at noon. When it comes to testing around the state, the Department of Health says more than 69,000 people have been tested for COVID-19. More than 12,000 have tested positive, and 661 people have died from the virus in the Hoosier State. A Central Indiana senior care facility is sharing what it's doing to protect residents and staff members during the pandemic. RTV6 reached out to Decatur Township Genesis Healthcare yesterday after an Indianapolis woman shared her story with us. Abby Ariro says her mother lives at the facility and tested positive for COVID-19 this week. She's now on a ventilator. The center tells RTV6 it's following guidelines set by the Centers for Disease Control to prevent the spread of the virus. That includes screening residents and patients for symptoms 3 times a day, screening and taking temperatures for staff members before they come into the building, and requiring all staff to wear personal protective equipment.
RTV6 is sharing resources to help our community rebound from the coronavirus pandemic. That includes making sure systems and support programs work as they should. Many people are still having problems filing for unemployment. John Heminger says that he is out of a job for the first time in 20 years. As an independent contractor, he's now eligible for unemployment under the federal COVID-19 relief bill, but his claims have been denied twice. And like many others, he's having trouble getting through to anyone on the phone.
As soon as I knew that they were open, I called. It went straight to voicemail, or not voicemail, but put me on hold. And I sat there for 3 hours and nobody responded.
Wait times and benefits for self-employed were some of the biggest issues you had questions about tonight during our Rebound Indiana Town Hall with the Department of Workforce Development. RTV6's Rafael Sanchez shared your concerns with the department's commissioner, chief of staff, and Indiana's unemployment officer. While delays and issues are still being worked out, the department has issues an unprecedented amount of benefits. Hoosiers received $276 million between Friday the 17th and on Sunday the 19th. That's more than all of the benefits paid out in 2019. And we've learned that there is help on the way for gig workers, independent contractors, and the self-employed. Beginning Friday, they will be able to apply through the state for unemployment benefits provided by the Federal CARES Act. Because the state unemployment typically does not cover those workers, the system has been denying their claims. And when the president signed the act, the Department of Workforce Development had to build an entirely new system to verify wages for eligible workers.
Obviously, when we're talking about self-employed or independent contractors, we have none of that information. We don't even know that those individuals exist. And so our unemployment insurance program, the way it's operated for really the 80 plus years of its existence, has not covered those individuals.
The department says applicants will start seeing those benefits on May 9th. You can watch the full town hall with the Department of Workforce Development officials at theindychannel.com.
Some businesses have also been denied federal loans aimed at helping them get through this economic crisis. Merck's Family Dining in Muncie did not get money from the federal Paycheck Protection Program. Owner Tim Merkel thinks the funding ran out by the time his bank processed his application. He posted a message on Facebook telling customers the restaurant would likely be forced to close if business did not pick up. Merkel says the community responded in a big way.
The very next day, We were short-staffed, and it was just unbelievable how many people came through. It was very, very emotional. I mean, it's hard to see it and do it because people are they're wonderful here. This has got to be the best town I've ever lived in my life. Our customers are great.
The diner has now been able to call back some laid-off workers.
A bill that will provide a second round of funding for small businesses, including the Paycheck Protection Program, could be signed into law as soon as tomorrow. And while President Trump is preparing to open parts of the country to the public, he's closing the nation's borders to new immigrants. ABC's Inez de la Cotera has the latest on the federal response to the pandemic.
At a tree planting ceremony for Earth Day, President Trump announcing national parks and public lands will soon reopen.
Thanks to our significant progress against the invisible enemy, I'm pleased to announce that we will begin to reopen our national parks and public lands for the American people to enjoy.
President Trump announcing he is temporarily suspending most immigration to the U.S.
This will ensure that unemployed Americans of all backgrounds will be first in line for jobs as our economy reopens. But it could be modified, meaning made tougher or made less tough.
Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the Senate unanimously approved a new $484 billion relief package.
Unless we get our economy up and running again, there's not any way we can spend enough to continue to prop up the country.
The bill aims to pump an additional $310 billion into the Paycheck Protection Program for small business owners.
It's really about cash, right? Any small business owner that doesn't have large cash reserves, that wants to keep their people employed, that in a lot of ways their own livelihood as an owner is on the line.
It will also include additional funding for hospitals and widespread testing, which experts say will be key to reopening the economy.
Cannot tell people go out on the streets unless there's adequate testing.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo now pressing Trump to fund that testing.
Yes, they passed funding for small business and funding for testing, and that's good. That is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But it's not enough either.
The House is expected to pass that bill on Thursday, with the president signing it shortly after. But even before he signed that bill, there's already talk of another package of billions more in spending for states and cities. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, Washington.
An Indianapolis fashion designer has halted production on her collection of designer dresses to instead make face masks. RTV6 reporter Cameron Riddle shows you her handmade masks are being requested all over the world.
This time of year, fashion designer Cody Banks would normally be creating her spring collection. But coronavirus has put that on hold and shifted this Indianapolis designer's work to making face masks.
Normally, I would be doing prom dresses. I had a lot lined up, but they all got canceled because of COVID-19. So, and I have a lot of weddings. I had a lot of weddings booked, but they all got postponed till next year.
With personal protection gear in high demand across the globe, Banks added the custom face masks to her line of Witty by Cody creations.
Well, everybody has been asking me to make them, and I was like, okay, and I need to help. It's a need in America right now, so that was my biggest thing. I need to help.
After putting out the call for orders online, requests quickly came in from all over the U.S., even other countries, with some customers ordering in bulk.
My bigger orders are people who are wanting to donate these masks to hospitals. So I've had several people order 25 or 80 or 100.
The masks are reversible and even come with a slot for a filter to fit inside. For Banks, making these masks has become a family affair, with everyone from her mother-in-law to aunts, husband, and even little sister pitching in to help Banks and her 2 recently hired employees fill the non-stop request for masks. It's keeping this witty designer busy until dresses are the hottest designer item again.
Whenever the need is over, that's when I would go back to the dresses. And I'll throw some dresses in there because I can't lose my craft. But I think it's very important for people to stay healthy and for people who are not healthy to protect themselves against other people as well.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Many organizations and volunteers are helping the community rebound by getting food to our most vulnerable neighbors. Oak Street Health treats senior citizens on Medicare. In addition to the usual checkups, the facility is now offering free grocery pickup and delivery so patients can stay home and stay safe. 92-year-old Ana Luisa Springs is grateful for this service.
I'm grateful for it. My Social Security is all spent, and I live on Social Security. And it's all spent, and I'm hungry. I'm determined I'm not getting this virus. It's not mine. So I won't be getting this.
Oak Street Health is working with local partners like Indiana Black Farmers and the Shepherd Community Center to provide the free food. And the FFA is helping get food to people in need while also supporting farmers. The Western Boone County chapter of the organization is in the middle of the Milk and Meat Week. Members hope to raise at least $7,500 to buy milk, beef, and pork from Indiana businesses at discount prices. The food will then be donated to nonprofits to distribute back to the community. Students say the challenges farmers are facing hit close to home.
Seeing farmers dump their milk on the news, and a lot of our parents farm, and a lot of the people that we know in the community and that we're connected to through 4-H and FFA, we're seeing them struggle.
We just wanted to take action during this time to do something. I mean, we're kind of all quarantined at home. We want to make an impact somehow.
Well, the purchases will be spread out over the next few months. You can find more information on the Western Boone FFA Facebook page.
A heartbreaking reality for coronavirus patients is not being able to see their families, and a common problem is leaving many to suffer alone. Not having a phone charger. Coming up, a grassroots effort to help change that. Kevin.
And rain sits to our southwest tonight. How much rain to expect tomorrow and when it will impact the weekend? That's all next.
Only on RTV6 News.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
For most of us, not having a phone charger is inconvenient, but for COVID-19 patients, a charger can be a lifeline to loved ones. Scripps reporter Usher Qureshi explains a growing mission to get the small power cords into hospitals around the country.
He wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, he was starting to become slightly delirious and confused.
77-year-old retired Navy doctor Stephen Heffler was not doing well. 2 days in a Florida intensive care unit, and without a phone charger, the only connection to his family was about to end.
That's where they said, look, everything's crashing. He's on full life support, he's on ventilator, he's on full dialysis because his kidneys have failed. You need to say goodbye. And we said, well, how are we supposed to talk with him? His phone is dead.
Heffler's nurse came to the rescue, getting a charger from her home for him to use. How much of a difference do you think it made for him to be able to continue hearing your voice?
I think it made all the difference.
Hi, Grandpa Steve. I hope you feel better.
It's something Megan Tress, a nurse practitioner, has seen all too often.
Probably every day, there's at least 1 or 2 nurses on every unit trying to search for a cell phone charger.
Tress has since started collecting chargers. Hundreds of them, all to be donated to hospitals around the country.
This is the donation box that I first put out.
The nurse-turned-phone charger crusader says she's already been able to distribute to hospitals in at least 10 states and will soon go nationwide.
And we now have a Google form that people can fill out if they want these for their hospital.
Tress has joined forces with John Heffler to help hospitals build up a stockpile of universal chargers.
Turns out no hospitals anywhere provide chargers in their room because they never had to.
They're on track to raise $100,000 for the effort. The mission to raise awareness and make sure every patient alone in an ICU and beyond has a chance to hear the voice of a loved one.
I love you, Grandpa Steve. Please feel better. We need you. I love you.
So we figure if we can get 100,000 chargers out there to all the hospitals and quarantine zones that need them, that would be the win.
So it could really be the difference between life and death.
After 3 weeks on a ventilator, twice considered to be the end for Dr. Heffler, he fought through. He is now breathing almost completely on his own. Reporting from Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Good to hear that. People across central Indiana continue working together to show support for medical workers. This evening, fellow first responders on the front lines of the crisis put on a parade outside Community North Hospital. Lawrence firefighters, police officers, IMPD, and members of more than 20 other agencies participated.
We get such an outpouring of support for our police officers and firefighters, and of course that's very deserving. But I think sometimes it's those doctors and nurses and you know, not just the healthcare professionals with direct patient contact, but those that keep that facility clean, those that provide security there, those that do all those things that are just so critical to keeping us healthy.
It's just nice to see the community come together. Yeah. It's just overwhelming, the support.
Of course, everyone who took part in the parade adhered to social distancing guidelines. And today, IUPUI police held a parade at the Ronald McDonald House in downtown Indianapolis. Young patients from around the state still need to travel to the city for essential care, and their families still need a place to stay. Officers hope to bring some joy to those families and those that serve them. Time now for your Storm Team 6 forecast. Here's Kevin.
And thank you, Mark. What a day. Temperature started at 36, but we made it all the way to 72 this afternoon. Tomorrow, completely different story. We'll only warm 6 degrees from morning low to afternoon high, staying in the 50s throughout the day. That rain is likely tomorrow and Saturday. The first half of the weekend will have the biggest impact on your plans. The rain will. 51 in Peru, 64 in Bloomington, 65 in Sullivan. Rain holds off for a few more hours, but as you can see, it takes over in the morning hours tomorrow, a decreasing chance as we get mid to late afternoon. The rain will be steadiest in the southern half of the state. 7 a.m. rain from just southwest of Crawfordsville, Indianapolis, and Greensburg that drifts to the north all the way up toward Lafayette and Muncie by 10 a.m. Early afternoon, rain kind of spotty, but a little heavier in the eastern portion of the state. We'll continue with some showers through the afternoon hours, but I think the overall intensity will let up. As far as our rainfall possibility tomorrow, 1/2 inch or a little more south, 1/4 inch along Interstate 70, and generally less than that to the north. Instead of the 70s, we're trading those in for temperatures in the 50s through the day tomorrow. Friday, we get a break from the rain. Temperatures respond. We'll be back up into the 60s. As you look at Friday night into Saturday, the next push of rain comes our way. Saturday morning, rain, especially western half of the state. Then through the day Saturday, rain continues, maybe a rumble of thunder as well. At this point, not expecting any severe weather. 7-day forecast, temperatures on Sunday still cool. We're more likely dry through the second half of Sunday. If we see any showers, it'd be in the morning. Temperatures next week as warm as 65 on Tuesday, which is about average for this time of year. And again, a couple more opportunities for rain Tuesday and Wednesday. Just make sure you have your umbrella for tomorrow.
Thank you, Kevin. If you're looking for an excuse to get out of the house while still practicing social distancing, consider taking a road trip to Randolph County. RTV6's Brad Brown found the burgers and ice cream at the Chocolate Mousse are worth the drive.
It's easy to spot the history in downtown farmland. Many of these buildings along Main Street have stood for more than 120 years. And inside the Chocolate Mousse, there's a taste of nostalgia every day.
In a community where there aren't a lot of businesses, fortunately we're on a highway, so we still see traffic go through, but I think overall it's a little quieter.
It's a homecoming for Amy Davis and her husband Mark. Amy grew up just a short walk from the Chocolate Mousse. Now they own the place. They've spent the past month getting used to meeting their customers curbside.
You know, there have been times when our servers have delivered a meal to the curbside and they've been blessed with a very nice tip that they probably wouldn't have otherwise gotten if they were in here waiting tables, and that means a lot to us.
It's been really encouraging to have people come up and say, you know, and thank us for being open, thank us for allowing them to come and service. them and a place to come to eat.
For decades, the Mousse's menu of diner favorites has brought people from farmland and way beyond. The main event is in the old-time soda fountain and ice cream menu. Phosphates, malts, shakes, sundaes, green rivers. You can get most of those to go now as well.
I find that people are ordering the basics. Cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers. Tenderloins is one of our favorites. And so they're ordering what they're familiar with. Or even if they're not familiar with, they've read that, hey, this is really good, let's try this.
We try to put something out there every day, just kind of keep the chocolate mousse in the mind of our customers, even if they're thinking, oh, I'm driving home from work, and I can just pop through and pick up dinner.
As time's gone on, I've seen people that haven't been in here that have come by. So I'm getting some new customers because their options are limited and maybe they haven't tried this yet.
Big thanks to the whole crew up there. By the way, the bacon cheeseburger was an A+. They've got T-shirts as well. That's pretty great, don't you think? Amy and Mark are hoping to have the shop open soon so they can serve up some proper banana splits as summer gets here. For more information about their hours, their menu, and their specials, check out the Chocolate Mousse Farmland on their Facebook page. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
RTV6 is working to get answers for people in Fishers who are concerned about 5G technology plans for their neighborhoods. Troy Hammond lives in Sunblist Farms in Fishers. He's concerned about this letter that he received saying a 5G structure will be going up 200 feet from his house. Call 6 Investigates spoke with several homeowners in Fishers who are worried about the impact on property values as well as the health impacts of 5G technology.
I teach government. I understand when, cities have to make decisions, big decisions and things, but you would think you bring the stakeholders in and let everybody know exactly what's going on. Our neighborhood's certainly not saying, don't move forward with technology. It's just, bring us, if not to the table, certainly into the loop.
We asked Verizon for more information about their plans for Fishers. They told us they're working with local officials to bring upgrades to wireless service that will benefit consumers, businesses, and first responders. A Fishers Public Works Board meeting on the 5G issue is scheduled for Monday at 4 p.m. You can submit your comments online. We've included links on how to do that on the RTV6 app. A site that became known for violence and other crime on the east side of Indianapolis is now officially gone. The city says demolition at the former Oak Tree Apartments complex at 42nd and Post is complete. The project to tear down the abandoned building began back in October. Community leaders have already started talks about what neighbors would like to see on that property.
The NFL draft is still happening as scheduled, and it starts tomorrow night. You can watch every round live here on RTV6. And while the draft is not postponed, it's not exactly business as usual. Everything will be done virtually, from the team's picks to player interviews and even fan reaction. Our Dave First talked to the family who will represent Colts Nation in the Sports Extra Spotlight.
It was supposed to look a lot like this. Thousands of NFL fans from around the country descending upon the Las Vegas Strip to take part in the annual NFL Draft.
Needless to say, this isn't quite the trip to Las Vegas you were expecting.
Meet the Souza Michaels. Lisa, Paul, and son Nick, they won a drawing from the Colts to be in Vegas this week.
It was disappointing. We'll be honest. It was pretty disappointing to learn that the trip was canceled and leaving today for Vegas. So that, that's kind of sad to think about.
Instead, the Colts sent a care package and lined them up to be part of the TV coverage, with the network expecting to cut to their computer camera to get the reaction to the Colts picks.
Do you know quite what to expect?
Other than just knowing that we need to be ready and knowing that when it's our turn, we're supposed to be excited, for our picks.
And they will be. The Souza Michaels have had season tickets ever since the team moved from Baltimore. Heck, Nick's middle name is Peyton.
Welcome to Colts Nation Draft Pick. You just got the best organization in the NFL.
And this Purdue freshman already has his response down.
You got a Reggie Wayne jersey on. Any chance the Colts are going to take a player like Reggie Wayne this weekend?
Well, we certainly hope so. There's a lot of talent in the wide receiver position in this draft. Hopefully we can take a good receiver to complement T.Y. this year.
You've done your homework. I like this. That's why you guys are doing this.
I'm not doing my actual homework.
So, armed with flags, hats, and autographed footballs, needless to say, the Sousa Michaels are ready. And there's nothing virtual about that.
Let's go!
In a way, you guys kind of represent Colts Nation. So is there any pressure here for you guys going into the NFL draft?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. You know, big supporter of the organization, and, you know, have always been happy with what Mr. Irsay has done for the city and the community. And so we will definitely try to show our support and make Colts Nation proud.
And you can see all 3 days of the NFL Draft live right here at RTV6 at ABC. Coverage begins at 8 Thursday night.
Work weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
Today it was 70s with sunshine. Tomorrow, 50s with rain likely, especially through the first half of the day. Amanda?
Thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. GMI starts at 4:30. Thank you for joining us. Good night.